Hello. This quick start video demonstrates how to develop use cases in the Visible Analyst. Use cases are used to explain and document the interaction between the users and the system to accomplish the user's tasks. Use cases are also used as a means of expressing the user requirements captured here in the strategic planning statement hierarchy. We will see how the Visible Analyst implements and links the use cases to the strategic planning statements. The next picture shows documentation created about the use case Search and Browse Tunes. As we will see, this information can be maintained in the Visible Analyst, or it can be maintained external to the Visible Analyst, but still linked to a Visible Analyst item. The choice is yours. First, we'll create a new use case diagram. File, New Diagram, choose Use Case, and click OK. We'll add a use case symbol to the diagram, and we'll label it Search and Browse Tunes. Add a second use case. We'll call it Purchase Tunes. Now I already created a use case as shown here in the object browser. It's not highlighted or bolded because it's not yet used on the diagram. I can click on it and drag it right onto the diagram. The next action is to add the actors that will interface with the use cases. Here I add a customer, I'll add a second instance of customer, and then I'll add a marketing manager. Marketing manager is the person who will create the promotion for the tunes. The next step is to save the diagram. We'll save that as music downloads. I now want to add a system boundary. The system boundary is a symbol that represents and clearly delineates what parts are internal and external to the system. And we'll call this the music download system. Now the use cases are generally contained within the system. While the symbol is highlighted, I'll drag and expand the size of the symbol to enclose the use cases within the system boundary. I can move them over. Again, change the size of the system boundary. Now when I save the diagram and I access the repository entry for this system boundary, you'll see that these three items, the use cases, are now enclosed within the system boundary and recognized within the repository. The next step is to create a few relationships between the customer and the use cases. I'll click on the Communicates, draw a line, and in this case you're prompted to label the line. This is optional, but it's a good practice to label the lines to communicate with the end users what you're trying to display on the diagram. We won't label the rest of the lines. Now, I also wanted to add, we'll connect that, another instance of the customer entity because they are also involved with the promotion of tunes. Okay, add a new relationship. We'll cancel here. Now, as I showed you, the system boundary shows that these items are enclosed within the system boundary. Here I have the repository entry for the system boundary. When I click on Promote Tunes, I can jump to its repository entry. Here I further defined the Promote Tunes use case. I have a number of preconditions, the normal course of events, alternative course of events, and then we have some post conditions and exceptions that have yet to be added. I also used a hyperlink where I can reference an external document to this use case item in the Visible Analyst repository. If I wanted to maintain the scenario documentation external to the Visible Analyst, I could. When I'm finished, I can then copy the information and paste it right into the scenario field itself. Looking at the Locations tab, it shows me that this particular use case is used on a diagram, but it also references the system boundary where the use case is used. An important aspect of the Visible Analyst is the links field. And here I can link this use case to the actual planning statements or system requirements that validate and implement that use case. Or in this case, the system will track the customer's interest, and I can simply drag and drop that planning statement into the links to field. And I also want to notify customers, so I'll drag that into the field. When I save this, the link is bidirectional, so if I jump to the repository entry for this planning statement, I see that it's linked to this particular use case, Promote Tunes. Another way that we have linkage within the Visible Analyst is to explode a use case and link it to types. In this case, I can link it to an activity diagram, a collaboration diagram, or a sequence diagram. That allows me to further define the use case and show that information on the appropriate diagram type. This was a very quick overview of the capabilities of drawing and using use cases within the Visible Analyst. Thank you.